Hare Krishna.
Now, is it
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna? Dandavat pranams to everyone. Thank you very much for logging in. We're here for the second day. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I will just share the screen so that you can today's presentation and we can start. Shobita Mataji, can you confirm if you're able to see the video and also the screen? Sorry.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we're here to learn about Bhagavad Gita. It is the second day, and the chapter name is called as Gita Saramsh. So here we'll see that Krishna, he gives a short summary of the entire 18 days course that we're going to learn today. And today is the most important session where we'll be learning about the most important, it's called the confidential knowledge is also revealed in this chapter. And before we start, we will take blessings from our gurus. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखावतांश्च नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। All of you, please raise your hand. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining the second day of Gita, which is Gita. Can one of you confirm if my audio is audible?
Yes, ma'am, your audio is audible.
Okay. I'm just changing certain settings just because I can't hear all of you.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Once again, hello. Can one of you speak so that I can hear you? Okay. Or
You're muted, Mataji.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, Mataji, it's perfect.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Okay. So to begin with, we are all our teachings are based on the teachings of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And he is the founder Acharya of ISKCON, which is International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So we just saw that Gaurangi Mataji and also Shiv Prabhu, both of them did the summary. Just to give a short summary, what we saw yesterday was there were three people observing the army. One is Arjuna was viewing the army, and also we had first to begin with, we started with Dhritarashtra, the first shloka. Dhritarashtra was viewing the army, and Duryodhana was viewing the army, and also we saw the army how it was viewed in the eyes of Arjuna. And we stopped at a place where Arjuna was lamenting. He was feeling compassion for his relatives, and also he was feeling maybe if I go ahead with this war, there will be loss of enjoyment because I will be killing all my relatives. And also he was fearful of sinful reactions. So when we do some work, we will have sinful reactions which actually follow it. So this is what he was scared about. And the last one that we saw is how there could be destruction of family traditions. So if all the men are killed, maybe there will be nobody who will take care of the women of the family, that is the women, and the children will not be taken care. There won't be any protection, and there could be destruction in the family traditions. But we had one more last point which we were telling that we will be discussing that today. So let's see about that on how we can understand this part. So so what I'm going to study in today's chapter is what we need to understand. And before we do that, so just to summarize, we had three people reviewing the army, and Arjuna was feeling very compassionate. And also we will be referring to this chapter where it is in the next 18 days, we will have something that is going to come up, which we will be discussing today. That is about the guru, identification of the guru. Sorry. Yes, the identification of the gurus, where Arjuna gets completely confused in the second chapter, and he feels that his relationship with Krishna, which changes, there is a change of relationship with Krishna that happens right now in this chapter, and that would be like, although he's calling him as a friend, he would be confirming him and accepting him as a guru. So what are those sequential shlokas? We will also see that. So this chapter name is also called as Gita, where it's a summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita, where Guru will be like Krishna. Arjuna will be accepting Krishna as a guru, and then also Arjuna will see that his identification is confirmed. He will see, okay, there is a different identity apart from my own body. This is what he will see. He will see, and also we have two types of dharma that we need to follow. So apart from my body, that whatever I have my body, there is one more dharma that I need to follow. So they are called as Swadharma and Nitya Dharma. And also we will see who is the Atma Rama. Okay. Now let's move to the next slide. So here we are going to be, this is a very important slide. Why is it important? Because we will be seeing there are two worlds in this. We will always be referring about two worlds in the next 18 days. Please keep this in your mind, where we will be referring that, when we refer to the spiritual world, it means it's Krishna's world. Spiritual world means it's Krishna's world. Spiritual means it's Krishna's world. And all the living entities are always happy in spiritual world. Whenever we go to spiritual world, and whoever is in spiritual world, they're always happy. And what do we have in spiritual world? In spiritual world, we have Vaikuntha Lokas, where we have so many four Chaturbhuja forms, four-handed Vishnus will be there. And also we have Krishna in his home is in Goloka Vrindavana. So in Goloka Vrindavana, it's always, all the gopis and gopas are always happy, and they are always, having some nice relationship with each other. They will be happy with each other. Unlike the material world, we have one more world that we will be introducing always. What is a material world? Whenever I'm talking about material world, it means that we are referring to this earth, where on this planet earth we are sometimes happy, sometimes we are not happy, sometimes there is sometimes it's sunshine, sometimes it's moonshine, it's not so bright, so it's not knowledgeable sometimes. And also sometimes it's cold winters, and sometimes it's very hot summers, and sometimes happy faces, and sometimes it's sad faces. So we have to see how we can so we have to understand that material world means it's kind of a jail, and spiritual world means I'm out of jail, I'm back into the Krishna's world. So this is how we need to understand. Now, why is this spiritual world always a happy place? It's because the spiritual world is called as Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Sat means it is eternal. It's always there. It is never going to start. It's never going to end. Like for example, if you see in the spiritual world, it is morning and it becomes day. Wherever there is morning, there has to be night. So like that, in the spiritual world, it's always sunshine. Like Krishna's effulgence will be everywhere all the times. There's nothing called as morning and night. It's always like bright because of Krishna's effulgence. And Chit, what is Chit? Chit is knowledge. So no, whoever is in the spiritual world, they're always having 100% all the time. They know what happened in the past, what happened in the future. They know everything. And Ananda means eternal happiness. So there is never sadness. You're always happy, jumping, dancing. So you're always happy. Whatever you want to do, you keep doing that. And in the spiritual world, all the living entities are so happy serving Krishna. So whenever we serve Krishna, we become so happy. And in the material world, since we forget that we need to serve Krishna in the material world. We think that I have to go play in the park, and that is how I will be serving my senses and myself. But I'm not serving Krishna. That's why I become sad, and also we become unhappy sometimes. Let's read more about this in the future slides. So here, can one of you tell me, is our vision perfect? Can we see God? Let's ask somebody over here. Let's ask, can one of you tell me, is our vision perfect? Hiranya, is our senses perfect?
No, teacher.
Why? Why do you think?
Because we can't see that because we don't have nice vision, teacher.
We don't have nice vision. So,
Yeah,
tell me, what do you see on the tree?
it's a normal tree, teacher.
Yeah, what else do you see in this picture?
Some fruits, teacher,
Not in this small picture, in this big picture. Do you see the
and some sky, teacher. That tree, teacher.
okay? You can call me Mataji. So
Yes, Mataji.
okay. We have this tree, but are we able to see the bird on this tree?
No, no, Mataji. No,
Do we see fruits on this tree?
no, Mataji.
Are you able to see the leaves clearly?
No, Mataji.
Yes. So this is why we are not able to see things very clearly. We don't have perfect senses. Our senses are not perfect. And because our senses are not perfect, we think that, okay, I think it's sunshine now. When the sun is out of my eyes, I think that sun is already set. No, sun is actually on the other side of the globe. So we don't know if sun is on this side or that side. So we think that it's already sun is sleeping. This is how we think. Is sun sleeping? No. Sun is actually is there in the sky. So because our senses are not perfect, we are not able to see. Then how can I see? How can I see God? How can I see, what is the way, what is the method in which I will be able to see God is the big question. So let's see how we can see God. So in this chapter, Krishna gives a very beautiful analogy as to how I can see God. Krishna is saying that there are 3 stages of realization. What are those 3 stages of realization? One is that there is something called as Brahman effulgence, which is compared to the sunshine, right? There is when we see from whenever I sit and I see sun, I don't see sun in the sky. Even if I don't see the sun in the sky, I can see its rays passing into my house, its rays passing into the garden. I can see the rays passing into the space everywhere. It's just encroaching. So that is compared to the effulgence. And next, we have something called as sun disk. So for example, when we go very close to the sun, there is a nice ball of fire. You've read in your science books, right? Sun is a huge ball of fire. So when we go to the huge ball of fire, that's compared to the Paramatma. And the third one is when we go very close to the supreme planet where Krishna resides, that becomes the sun god itself, which is the Bhagwan. So we are not saying sun god is the supreme, but we are trying to compare, we're trying to understand and compare, like how when we see rays, it's actually Krishna's rays, and when we see the Paramatma, it's actually the sun disk itself, and when we go closer, it's the Bhagwan who is sitting like a sun god. So why are we giving this example? The example is because when we take a, sorry about that, so when we, I think it stopped sharing, just a minute. It got closed automatically for some reason. Sorry about that. I clicked something accidentally and it got closed. Yes. So when we see Krishna's, when we have a guru, when we say, you're the guru and you're the supreme God, and please help me to see Krishna, when we approach a guru, automatically guru will help us see Krishna. He's like the, for example, if you have a, let me ask this question to some of them. Krishna, no, we have Vivan Mehta. Vivan, if you want to go, let's say if you want to go to if you want to go from Bangalore to Mangalore, how will you go? What do you require?
Plane.
You need a plane. Okay. Before you catch a plane, what will you search for?
Airport.
You need an airport. Okay. And then how will you know how to go?
What?
How will you know how to go there?
They will show us where to go, and we have to follow them.
Okay. Where do you stay?
I stay in Pune.
You stay. Okay. If you want to go from Pune to Mumbai, how will you go?
We can go by train.
You can go by train. Okay. How do you know which train will go there?
You have to search.
Okay. Then where will you search?
Any railway station we can search. Is it going to Mumbai or not?
But will you go to every railway station and search?
No, only nearby us. With
railway station. But will you go? Why do you have to even go to the railway station? You can sit at home and search, right? How do you search? How do you search sitting at home?
By electronic devices.
Exactly. So you will open your phone and open your Google Maps and you'll say, how do I go from Pune to Mumbai? So when we think like that, we will see that from the GPRS how I can take a train, or if I take a bus, or if I take a taxi, how I need to go. These are the things that you will search. Like that, Guru also is the one who will guide us, that if I want to go from the spiritual world, from the material world to the spiritual world, he will give us the directions. So he will direct, since you are doing this, you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can go to the spiritual world. He's the one, he will give us the knowledge as to how I can go to the spiritual world where Krishna is there, where it's always happiness. So we need to take somebody who is a bona fide guru. There is a new word that is given over here, which is called bona fide. What is a bona fide? Bona fide means Krishna has represented 4 paramparas. So we have to take only somebody where Krishna is telling. For example, when you go to school, you don't go to any tuition and just say, yes, I have a degree. You will go to school. Before going to school, you will research if this is a good school, if this school is teaching all the required things, if the teachers in the school have got good knowledge, if the teachers are already following the curriculum. You'll see all this, right? Like that, Krishna, what he did is, he taught Bhagavad Gita to everybody, and he taught it to 4 guru paramparas. We have to follow only those bona fide guru paramparas. Then we will be able to go to Krishna's planet. But sometimes what happens is, some people, they just see the effulgence and they think, this is Krishna. And some people, as soon as they find Krishna in this effulgence form, they think, okay, this is on this. They think that, okay, this effulgence is actually God. They don't think that this is Krishna. They think that this effulgence itself is God because it looks so peaceful and blissful. And some people, as soon as they reach the sun disk, they think Paramatma may be the supreme person. I think that is the next realization that they have. And the third type of realization is Bhagwan. That is the best of the realizations, where they think, yes, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Why should I believe that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead? This you might think. It's written in the Shastras, that is, it's written in Vishnu Purana, that Krishna is the supreme person, and Krishna is whoever is the supreme person has these qualities. What are those qualities? It's given, Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashasah shriyah Jnana-vairagya-yoschaiva sannam bhaga itingana. So it's saying one who has all riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation also. So who is the supreme person? Supreme person is two-handed Krishna. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he has 2 hands. And how many hands does Paramatma have? Who can tell me how many hands Paramatma has over here? Hriday Kanabar can unmute. Adya?
He has 4 hands.
Yes, Paramatma has 4 hands. And how many hands does the Bhagwan has? That is Krishna.
I think Bhagwan has 2 hands and
you have somebody else? Okay, no worries. So Paramatma, whenever somebody is realizing Paramatma, it's actually the effulgence, where it's also the lowest form of realization, and which Krishna doesn't recommend, but some of them do that. And Paramatma realization is, you're actually going to the Vishnu's planet, which is Paramatma, which is 4-handed Vishnu forms. There everybody has 4 hands. And also we have Bhagwan, that is Krishna's place, which is Goloka Vrindavana, and he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Why he is supreme personality of Godhead? Because he is all rich, all strength, all famous. He is so famous. Even if he is stealing butter, he is famous. Even though he steals butter, he is so famous. And he is doing, anything that he does, he becomes very famous. And he's all beautiful because he's the most attractive person. Krishna means most attractive. And also all knowledge. He knows everything. He knows each and every hair on your hand, and he knows even each and every scalp on your head. He knows even the number of scalps in your hair. So he knows every single detail in you. So he's the most knowledgeable. And also, he's so renounced. He's not attached. He's so renounced. That's why Krishna is the Bhagavan, and he is two-handed form. Next, we'll start with the first shloka, and let me just lower all your hands first, and then if you know this shloka, you can raise your hand. Moola Shashank, would you like to recite? Lalit Shri. Lalit Shri, you can unmute.
Yes,
Lalita,
Yes.
sorry.
ma'am, it's Lalita Sri, not Lalita Sri.
Lalit Shri, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Because it's written Lalitha. So I thought it's Lalita. Okay, Lalit Shri, please.
Okay, ma'am. Ra,
Do you know this shloka?
Ma'am, Mataji, actually, first time I'm reading. So
Okay.
I want to try, that's why I have unmuted myself.
Okay. Please try.
Karpanya do. Ma'am, it's correct.
Karpanya.
Karpanya do dosa
Dosho.
dosho pahatta. Ma'am, I can't.
Okay, I'll say it, you repeat it, okay? Karpanya dosho.
Dosya
Ahata swabhava.
ahata sabaha
Pritchami tvam.
prichhami tvam
Dharma sammudha.
dharmasa samhoda
Chetaha.
chetaha
Yachreya.
yatshreya
Syan.
nyai
Nishchitam.
nisticha
Nishchitam.
nistitam
Bruhi.
luhi
Bruhi.
bruhi
Tanme.
santhe
Shishyasteham.
Shishyasteham
Shadhimam.
pahimam
Shahimam. Shadhimam.
pahimam
Shadhi.
shadi
Mam.
mam
Tvam.
mam
Tvam.
tham
Tvam. Tvam.
tvam
Prapannam.
prapannam.
Thank you very much for trying. So stay with us. We will learn even in our Bhakti Vriksha. We will learn the shlokas. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Now I have to read this paragraph.
Yeah. No, it's okay, Lalit, because I will be asking others also to recite the shloka. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, to help me.
Thank you so much, Lalit. Thank you so much. Kavin, would you like to recite?
Okay, Mataji. Now I am confused about my duty and I have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I'm your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you very much. See, in this shloka, Krishna is asking, Karpanya doshopahata swabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta. He's saying, I'm confused about my duties. So remember in the first chapter, he was getting confused. He was thinking that I will be maybe killing my relatives, I may be doing some sinful reactions, and all of these confusions he had. And finally, in this chapter, he's feeling confused about his duty and he lost his composure because of his miserly weakness. And that's why now he's saying, I'm your soul surrendered unto you. I surrendered unto you, and my soul is surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So he's till now he was like his friend. Even now he's treating him like his friend, but now he's saying, all the things that you're telling me is right. I'm not able to understand. He's humbly surrendering and he's asking, please guide me what I should do in this case. So this is how we need to surrender to the Guru humbly, so that the Guru gives the proper direction for us to learn the Shastras. And we all have to think that Arjuna is actually trying to say to all of us over here how we need to be humbly surrendering to our Gurus to learn the Shastras nicely, so that we can go back to the spiritual world. This is a very important shloka where Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna. So he's getting confused about all his duties. He has many duties, but he wants to know what are my duties. And because he's also feeling, I'm losing all my composure. I'm having these miserly weaknesses. I have certain weaknesses. What are our weaknesses? Remember, we learned that we can't see. We have imperfect senses. We cannot see things clearly from our own senses. It has to be shown through a bona fide spiritual master. That's why he's surrendering to Krishna himself. Next, what do we see over here? So here we need to understand what is our real identity. So we have something called as a real identification crisis that happens over here with Arjuna. So that's why in this chapter we come across there is an identity that is given to our body, and there is something else that's coming up. Are we this body really? That is what is coming up over here. So the real identification versus the identity crisis. From birth to death, what are the consequences that we see? In the shloka, who would like to recite the shloka? Can one of you recite? Maybe let's ask Janvi. Janvi. Sorry, I'm just reading the way it is written on your screen name. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, my apologies. Janvi, can you recite the shloka? Can you recite the shloka, please?
Yes, ma'am. Can I recite?
Yes, please.
देहिनोऽस्मिन् तथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरः तथा देहान्तरप्राप्ति धियः सत्र न मुह्यति.
Thank you very much. We can ask one more person to recite. Jayanti.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hare Krishna. Jayanti. Jayanti Divakaran. Or else we have Nrushal.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Would you like to recite the
Yes,
shloka?
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can I practice?
You want to practice?
Ma'am, I'll try.
Yes, try.
Dino samen yata dihi kameram yahuvanam jat tata diantra prapatri diras tata na muyati.
Thank you very much. Let's ask one more person. Thanks a lot, Nrushal. Akshit Sriram Gannamanini.
देहिमोऽस्मिन् याते देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिर् dhiras tatra na muhyati.
Haribol, very nice trying. Very good. Can you also read the translation? Okay, let's give a chance to another person. Unnati, would you like to read the translation?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, only my mic was not unmuting. Yes, ma'am. Deheno, ma'am, translation. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A soul person is not bewildered by such a change.
Thank you very much. This is a very, very important shloka. This is a very confidential, like, it's like a secret that we don't know all this time. What is it? It's saying, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyati. So Krishna is saying that this body, that is our body, that we hands, legs, all of this is completely our body. This body is passing from boyhood to youth to old age, and similarly after the death passes into another body. And a sober person, that is a person who is in knowledge, the person who is actually in knowledge is the guru. The guru or the people who already know the truth are not actually very bewildered. What do you mean by bewildered? Bewildered means they are not actually shocked or surprised about this. They know that this is something that is normal. What is normal? So see the picture over here. Can one of you tell me what do you understand by seeing this picture? I'll lower all your hands. If you know what you mean by this picture, then raise your hand. Whatever you understand from this picture, then raise your hand. Santosh, Krishnan?
Yes, ma'am. It says that after you are born, you go to youth, and then you die. But after you die, after a few years, you'll again form into another body.
Haribol, very nice. I'm so happy that all of you are so small and already know this big secret. Rohita, what else do you understand from this picture and this shloka?
Ma'am, it says that after you die, you're reborn again and again.
Sorry?
After you pass away, you reborn again and again as different people.
Very nice. So, whenever we are passing from one body to another body, only our soul is passing. But is this body permanent?
No.
Body is not permanent because once we are born, we are changing our body. Do you have the same body that you had when you were a small boy? Like when you were born, you were like small, right? Do you have the same body?
No.
Your body grew bigger, and then again you're growing and your muscles are growing bigger and bigger, and you're losing your old body, right?
Yes.
Yes. So who else can explain what else do you understand from this shloka? Oh, we have Arav over here. Arav, would you like to explain?
Ma'am, this is actually showing the process of life and death, ma'am.
Yes. So it's about life and death. So also, once you pass out of this body, you will be getting a new body, right?
Yes,
So like
ma'am.
that, thank you very much, Arav. Thanks a lot.
We will be reborn, ma'am. The blue line is representing. The blue line.
Yes. We will be reborn. So here, what is happening is there is a soul which is in every body. The body, it keeps growing. Like if you see the baby over here, it the soul is passing from the small baby to the toddler, and then to the small boy, and then you'll have a youth, and then a teenager, and then a man who gets the soul, and then again our body dwindles. After dwindling again, we are having some disease that we capture, and then it goes into another body. So it passes out. See, there's a Body dies, perishes, and then goes to another body as soon as we die. So this is how the soul is passing across, right? We will see more about the soul. This is just for us to a small introduction. So just to understand what exactly is the soul, let us try to see this. Body and soul are different. How do I identify what is the body and what is the soul? So soul is compared to this bird. There's a bird inside, and inside there is a bird, which means the soul is inside the body, and there's a cage outside. The body is actually a cage that is given to us. Why we got this cage? We got this cage because who can answer? Why did we get this cage? Can I lower your hands? Who can answer? Why did we get this cage? Aditya. Aditya, do you know why we got this cage? Agastya.
Ma'am, to show our identity.
To show our identity. What identity? Can you describe it more?
Like different types of humans are there, like the facial expressions, the faces are different.
How do you compare this cage and this bird to the soul and the body? How can you compare this?
The bird is inside the cage, which means the bird is the soul, and the outside cage is the body, which captures the soul inside.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So why did we get this body?
To stay in a place.
Correct. So this material world, that is our material world. Let me mute. Can you mute yourself? Yes. So this material world is compared to a jail. Remember, we had two worlds: spiritual world and the material world. When we do some mistake, where do we go? We go into jail. Like that, this material world is also like a jail. And because we came to this material world, our body is given this, sorry, our soul is given this jail of a cage like a body. So because of this body, we are trapped, right? Next, then how do I get out of this jail? Who can tell me how do I get out of this jail? Let me lower all your hands. How do I get out of this jail? Raise only if you know how do I get out of this jail. Sujan.
You follow your guru's instructions, and eventually you'll go to Krishna's world.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Sujan. And what is that process that Guru will suggest? Who can tell that? Santosh?
Only after you are born and after you die, you will be able to go to the spiritual world and again be reborn.
Everybody is born, but they need a process how we can go, right? Let me tell you, let me break the silence over here. It's because how we can go, we are actually caged in this body. We can go by chanting. Chanting is the Maha Mantra. By chanting the Maha Mantra, we can go back to the spiritual planet, which is always happy, blissful, and it's eternal. There's nothing like, today there is day, there's no sunshine tomorrow, nothing like that. It's always happiness. So let us all unmute and chant once. All of you can unmute and chant once. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Rama 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
sorry, I was unmuted. Sorry, I was muted. So the only way that we can go back to the spiritual world is by taking the holy name of the Lord, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, on the beads, on the Tulsi beads. So, what is this body and soul? How are they different? Let's try to understand. The soul is actually so tiny. The soul is 10,000 part of the tip of the hair. So if you take a small hair, only single hair you have to take, and you have to make small portions of it. When you cut it to 100 parts and then divide by another 100 parts, so it becomes 1 by 10,000 parts of the tip of the hair. Hair tip itself is so tiny, it's so invisible. And on top of that, you'll have to cut that one hair into 100 times. Again, cut that one part into another 100 times. So tiny it will be. That tiny that soul is, which is in your body, in all of our bodies. That soul is the most powerful thing. Nobody can touch that. So we are eternally spirit souls inhabiting temporary bodies. So our soul is so good that it is eternal. It's always there. It's never dies. It can never be broken. It can never be burnt. So it's eternally there. And soul takes another body at the time of death. So we just learned how the small boy turns into youth, and then boyhood, and then adult, and then later grows old, gets disease, and then dies. Again he passes. See here, there's a small, he gets buried, and then there is another, the soul passing into small baby again, and then it comes into small boyhood, and then to adult, and then later he grows old, and then again he dwindles, and then later he is diseased, and then he dies, and then so like that. This soul is very complex. It's the most amazing thing. So this is the most confidential knowledge Krishna is giving it to all of us. We should be very happy that we now got to know we are not just body, we are the soul. And how can we relieve our soul? We can relieve our soul by chanting. So to give an example of how can I understand the soul, I now understand I have soul inside my body. How do I understand? For example, this is a car. Sorry, this is a bike, and this is a motorbike, and this is a car. Car, the motorbike, and the small bike, or the trike. The trike and the bike and the car is compared to our body. So let's ask somebody over here. Rauhin, can you tell me, Rauhin Banik,
Yes, ma'am.
can the bike or the trike drive by itself?
No, Mataji.
What about the bike? Can it start and go on its own?
No, Mataji.
What
By
about
this, we can understand that a body is like a bike, and inside the soul is there, which drives the body.
Perfect. So the driver, whoever is there, that driver is like a soul. So my soul is thinking, I want to drink water, and I go fetch the water and drink. And the soul is thinking, I want to chant Krishna's name. That's how we chant. So it's all wishes of the soul. Whatever soul wishes, we are able to do that. Otherwise,
Yes,
we cannot.
Mataji.
Yes. So whoever is sitting in the car, thank you very much, Rohin. Thanks a lot. That was very good that you know. So
Thank you, Mataji.
thank you. So whoever is sitting in the car, they will say, I want to go left, they will turn left. They want to go right, they turn right. So the soul, whatever it says, the body keeps just, following the orders. There is one more person who is helping with the orders. We will learn that later, okay? So now let us see what exactly is the difference between the body and the soul. Actually, one of you can read this. Let's ask Advait Krishna. Can you tell the differences you have?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell the differences of the body and the soul? You can read out.
Ma'am, did you call me?
I did.
Ma'am?
Advait, you can tell me the difference between the body and the soul. It's on the screen right now.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, body, matter, not conscious. Changes temporary, dead. A soul, spirit, conscious, no changes, eternal, alive.
Thank you very much, Advait, for reading. Now, let me lower hands, and one of you can actually explain this. Who can explain this? Raise your hand. Hitashri. Okay, Sumitra.
This explains the difference between the body and the soul. That the body is just a piece of matter, but the soul is actually the spirit. The body does not have consciousness, but the soul does. The body undergoes many changes, but the soul never does. And the body is temporary; it can only last for a few years, while the soul will last eternally. And the body ends up dying at one time, while the soul doesn't. Ma'am, Mataji, I have a question about this. This picture was present when you were explaining Prakriti, ma'am. So does this have anything to do with Prakriti?
Prakriti and the material nature. So our body is made out of Prakriti. That's why this has come up.
Oh, okay.
Good question. Yes. So what happens is our body is also made out of those Pancha Mahabhuta. This we will be learning in future. This is not for everybody, just for you. That yes, we will be learning about our body is made out of 5 elements, and that's why the Prakriti is coming over here. So our body performs as per the orders given by somebody. That also we will be learning in future. So just to differentiate. Our body is eternal, so there is no end, there is no beginning, and it is alive. So the soul is the one which is alive. But does the matter itself is alive? Is the matter itself alive? We got the bike. Is the bike itself alive? No. But the driver makes it alive by driving it. Like that, our soul is not alive, but sorry, the body is not alive, but the soul is driving this body, which is a dead matter. So if you see, once we die, this body is actually getting mixed with the soil. We just either burn it, it turns into ashes, or we just it gets mixed with the soil when we just bury it like that, right? So the matter itself is not having any life, but the soul is the one which keeps the matter going alive. And also the soul, the body changes all the time. The body changes from one thing to another, from boyhood to youth to adult, but the soul never changes. So this is how we need to compare the body and the soul. We need to, when we read shastras many times, we are able to compare. We are not this body, we are this soul. So all the things that I'm wishing through my soul, that becomes reality. Whatever I wish is becoming reality if I deserve it. Now, how many types of species are there? We have 84 lakh species of life forms. So, our body is just not how we have got this body by accident. Because we have done some good deeds in the past, something that we have done good, we've got this human life, this human soul. I've got this human body because my soul has done something good in the past. Otherwise, it travels in the fish form, octopus, dolphin. So it takes 84 lakh species before I could come into the human form. When I get this human form, I should be very happy that now I have a human form where I can think. I can read. My consciousness is higher. For example, a fish, it can only think that I want to get another small fish to eat, or it will find some water animals to eat, but it cannot think on its own. I want to think about Krishna. Can it think? No. But human beings can think about Krishna. And when we are having so much intelligence, Krishna gives his intelligence to the human beings so that we can chant and go back to Krishna Loka. This is why we have given this, Krishna is giving this soul to us so that we can go back to the spiritual world by chanting. But okay, I have got this soul, but I want to know what are the other features. So this is all, we're all learning who am I today. I want to understand what am I, who am I, all these questions will be answered. You'll be able to understand who are we properly. So one must perform prescribed duties regardless of the difficulty. These duties purify and elevate. This is a very important shloka. Who can recite this? I will lower all your hands. Please raise if you know this shloka to recite. recite? Yes, Soumya Singh. Soumya Singh?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I will just try to sing because this is my first time. Matras parsastu kaunteya sitosna sukha dukha da agam apaino nityas tams titi kisasva bharata.
Hari bol. Very nice try. Even though you tried it for the first time, it was very good try.
Matrasparshastu kaunteya Sitoshna sukha dukkada Agamapaino nityas Tamsti tikshasva bharata.
Thank you very much, Darsh. So here Krishna is saying, O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance is in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They arise from sense perception, O sign of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So here we have to understand that destruction of the body is inevitable. Today I have this body, I may get another body tomorrow. And also something that's something that's not eternal is, let's ask one of you if okay, is do we have someone? Garva. My question is, have you seen winter?
Hare Krishna, ma'am. Ma'am, I don't want to answer. Ma'am, I'm not able to hear you. The voice is coming very less. I tried rejoining, but it didn't make any difference.
Is it better now?
No, ma'am. I'm not able to make out what you're saying. I have to listen very closely to understand what you're saying.
What about others? Okay, I'm going to lower all the hands. Raise your hand if my voice is low. Okay, you can give a thumbs up if my voice is not low. I see raising hands. Gaurangi, can you please confirm if my voice is low? Shobita Mataji? Give a thumbs up if you can hear me voice. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'm getting a mixed answer. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to switch to another computer. Just a minute.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Just give me 1 minute. I'm just switching the computer. Okay, I've just switched the machine. I hope it's clear now. I'm going to lower all your hands and don't raise your hand. Please raise your hand only. Yeah. Gaurangi, can you please confirm if my voice is clear? There were 200 parts. Is my voice clear, Gaurangi? Okay. Shobita Mataji, are you there? Nishchala, can you confirm if my voice is clear? Roshal. Clear? Okay, thank you very much. Is it better than before?
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So, all right. The question is, have you seen a place, Lalit? You can answer this. Have you seen a place where it's always summers?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
And thank you. Kanishka. Kanishka, have you seen a place where it's always winters?
Yes, ma'am.
Where is it?
Antarctica, ma'am.
Always, forever, but there is sometimes summers there, right?
I read at my textbook always cool, ma'am.
Yes, but sometimes it's summers also over there. In any place or every place, there will be summers sometimes and summers, winters sometimes. That's why the seasons keep changing. Like that, Krishna is telling that summers and winters are not exactly permanent in this material world. In the same way, happiness also comes and distress also comes. So these are very temporary. So these are very temporary, like our body is also temporary. So don't worry about this. Just do your duties, whatever your duties are there. For example, because it's so cold, do we stop going to school? No, we don't. We still go to school. Because it's so hot, I don't stop going to school. I do my duties. Like that, we should do our prescribed duties. Krishna is suggesting that. Sorry. Okay, so this is another very important shloka. Let us learn this. Who would like to recite the shloka? Let's ask somebody. Can we have Sumitra? Sumitra?
Yeah, ma'am. Sorry, yeah, Mataji. Na jayate mriyate vakadasin nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya ajo nitya sasvitoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sarire.
Thank you very much. So they are saying, Na jayate mriyate va kadachan nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyah ajo nityah shashvato yam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. So Krishna is saying, for the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He's unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. And he is not slain when the body is slain. What is Krishna explaining over here? He's saying this soul cannot be, is never born. It's always there. It's eternal and it is ever existing. It's ever existing forever. And it's primeval. It's very, 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 very old. We are all primeval. We are not born today. We are just born like it's never born. It's ever existing. So there's no time bound for this soul. And just like Krishna, we are also Satchidananda, eternal. We are also all knowledge, all blissful. So what happens then? What is death? We should know what is death. Death is another definition that we also need to learn. What is it? It's Vasam Siji. Sorry, you can recite. Nash.
Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani
grihnati naro parani tatha
sharirani vihaya jirnani
anyani samyati navani dehi. So it's saying that as a person puts a new garments, giving up the old ones, the soul similarly accepts the new material bodies, giving up the old and the useless one. Krishna is saying over here that every morning when we take a shower, we take a new dress and we wear it. So like that, the body also perishes and the soul takes the new body. So every morning we change our dress. In the same way, our soul also takes the new body every time. This is how we need to understand. So our material bodies are given up, taken a new one, and that's nothing but death. That's how we need to understand death, that we have given up this body and we take a new one. We have another important shloka. I'm going to, in the interest of time, I want to take all your questions. So we will be going ahead with shloka by ourselves now. नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनं दहति पावकः न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापो न शोषयति मारुतः. So it's saying the soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon. So our soul, nobody can touch our soul, nobody can cut our soul, and nobody can burn our soul. Only the body is burnt, but our soul can never be cut, or it cannot be burnt, or it cannot be moistened also. So if you think that, okay, I'll jump into water, maybe my soul will get wet. No, not at all. You jump into any kind of liquid, it can never be moistened, nor can be withered. So it cannot be fallen apart. Like how our hair is withered, or even the flower is withered, our soul cannot be even touched by anybody. So if forget about withered, even cannot be touched. So our soul is so pure. So see over here, I'm just trying to picturize a soul. Whereas what is the features of the soul? Soul is an individual. So in the shloka 2.12, it says soul is an individual. It is indestructible. So nobody can destroy this. It's eternal. And it cannot be measured. For example, when we go to the laboratory, we can measure. When we use certain instruments, we can use certain instruments to see. I can use a thermometer to check what is the temperature. I can use a vernier calipers to see certain measurements. So we have certain instruments that we can measure. For example, you use a scale to measure how big is the table. But our soul cannot be measured. There's no measuring scale in this world that can measure how big is this soul. But Krishna has already given it to us. It cannot be moved. If somebody says, let me pick this soul and keep it over here, no, it will think whatever it wants to, and it does whatever it wants to. Nobody can come and say, let me do this to your soul. No, they cannot touch or feel or anything like that. They cannot hold the soul. And also, soul is unchangeable. So if you think, I will change my soul to a different color or something like that, no, the way that soul is, the way it's going to be like that. No, none of us can touch the soul. And soul is invisible. The body can be seen. I have bones, I have cheeks, I have blood, I have eyes, I have tissues, I have hair, everything can be seen when we dissect and trisect. But we cannot dissect and trisect the soul and see how exactly the soul looks like. No, it's not possible. It's invisible and it's inconceivable. Inconceivable means we can't understand from our own mind and senses. It's only Krishna who can understand. We cannot understand. This is another important shloka that we can recite. Like I mentioned, because of the interest of time, we will go ahead with reciting. So it's saying, who am I? There is a possibility that there is one more thing that is happening over here, which is rebirth and reincarnation. Some of you might have already heard that when we, in this world, there is a rebirth and reincarnation. This is what Krishna is saying. So what is it saying? Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janmamritasya cha tasmada pariharyete na tvam soshitum arhasi. So saying one who has taken birth is sure to die, and after death one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, it is unavoidable to, in the discharge of your duty, you should not lament. So we should not say, you know what, I lost all my time playing unwanted games. Because you should always think how I can make my life useful, chanting about Krishna and make my life more and more useful. If you're not making your life useful, then somehow or the other, we will waste all our time making all the useless plans, and we will not be thinking about our soul. So what is our real dharma? So what is the soul's real dharma? That is what we need to understand. There are two dharmas. One is the soul dharma, one is the dharma for my body. So swadharma means specific occupation of the worldly duty. So this is the dharma of the body. Because I am coming into this material world, I need to perform certain duties because I'm in this material world. And also there is something called as sanatana dharma. This is the eternal duty that I do in the spiritual world. What do I do? when I'm in when I'm doing anything devotional, for example, our dharma must be to bring Krishna consciousness. Like avoid a typical Hindu misunderstanding. Some people think that oh, actually Krishna consciousness means it's not something that I always think of Krishna. No, you always have to think of Krishna, whether you're in material world or in spiritual world. For example, if you don't get good marks and if you want a particular school to join, will they give you admission? No. If you need admission in a good school, then you will try to study and go to that school. By studying properly, by getting good marks, you can go there. Otherwise, you cannot. Like that, if you want to go to Krishna's world, you want to dream about Krishna, think about Krishna, and do what you do in spiritual world. Like over here, we have Srila Prabhupada, who was always praying to Radha Krishna, and he also spread the name of Krishna to everybody. This is how our body has a dharma. What is the dharma of my body? I need to study well so that I can learn Shastras. I need to listen to my mom. I need to listen to my dad. I need to, I should never lie. I should always be truthful to everybody. I should always tell things that is not hurting others. So these are the good things that we should perform. And also we should, what are the consequences of avoiding dharma? Will I incur sin, infamy and dishonor? So Arjuna is asking these things. Arjuna is saying, oh, you know what? By just avoiding these kind of things, if I do any work, I will be having sinful reactions. Let me not work, he is thinking. But if we avoid doing any work also, we will have sinful reactions. That's why we should take the lotus feet of Krishna. So here, Krishna is saying, O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain to the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up and fight with determination. He's saying this. So your enemies will describe you like you're with unkind words. They'll say you're such a scorn of your ability, and what could be the more painful to you. So they'll say, you actually don't even have so much strength to fight. You were just showing off that you had strength to fight, but actually you don't even know how to fight. They will say so many wrong things to Arjuna. So Krishna is saying, no, don't give up your duties. Your duty as a Kshatriya is to fight the war. So you have to fight. This is how Krishna is chastising Arjuna. And there's a very small, very nice, sweet pastime. So we think that, okay, how I'm such a small, tiny person. What is it that I'm going to do special? But you see in this, there's a very sweet pastime where this small, the squirrel in Ramayana, what did he do? The squirrel, it was thinking that I want to also help Krishna. That is, he wanted to help Rama also. So what did he do? He went, this squirrel picked up very, very tiny stones, and he used to throw it into the ocean so that they can construct this bridge. So don't think that, Krishna is so big. He has so many people around him. How can me, being such a tiny person, will be able to help? Let me know. I don't think I can help such a person like Krishna. Don't think like that. We can also help Krishna. Like the tiny squirrel was helping Ram, in the same way we can also, whatever little we do is counted. This is what Krishna is explaining in the shloka. What is it? The shloka is Neha Vikramanashosti Pratyavayo na vedhyate Swalpamapyasya dharmasya Trayate mahato bhayat. So in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on the path one can protect from most dangerous type of fear. So even if you're doing little bit good things to others, that also Krishna is always looking at you. He'll say, okay, you have done this good thing, so I will definitely help you. So we should always try to give credits to Krishna, and we should always help whatever Krishna wants us to do. So it's whenever we do anything in the path of Krishna consciousness, it's an eternal credit. It's not temporary, it's eternal. And also Krishna gives us the buddhi. Krishna gives us the buddhi, which is nishkama karma. It becomes nishkama karma if we are helping Krishna. In the same way, and here we have to define that any small service that we have done will become so divine. So in the Kali Yuga Dharma, we have the best of what we need to do. And what is the best thing that we need to do in Kali Yuga? We need to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So we will be chanting once, but give me just one more slide is done and we will be chanting now. So in the Kali Yuga, Krishna has given a dharma. Over here we have Krishna, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, who came to give this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which is Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. We will sing that in the end. So we have to, like this family which is singing Hare Krishna with everybody. And also we have little people from the ashram who is also singing, or Gurukul who is singing Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And we have Bilva Mangal Thakur. We'll also see this pastime where Bilva Mangal Thakur is so nice that he was always thinking of Krishna, and he is also the Swarupa of Atma Rama. So we will learn about this story also in our Bhakti Vraksha. So one who is steady in Krishna consciousness, he is called as the Atma Rama. So we will learn how to become Atma Rama in our next few classes. And he is also a Sthita Prajna, which we will be learning later on. So we are not this body, we are this spirit souls, and happiness and sadness comes and goes. We should not be worried about that. Only way is to surrender to Krishna and to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Let us all chant. We are done with the chapter so that we can, yes, let us all chant. Let me unmute all of you just before that.
Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama
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 Rama Hare
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 Krishna
Rama
Hare
Krishna Hare
Rama
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 Hare
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 Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama Rama
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama
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 Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Yes. Thank you very much, everyone, for quietly listening. I'm so happy that all of you have joined for the second chapter. And if you have any questions, you can raise your hand now. And we will take only those questions which are relevant. We still have 20 minutes to go. Yes, we have Harsha. Yes, you can ask.
Ma'am, can you say me consequences of avoiding dharma?
If we avoid our dharma, the consequences, what are the consequences? The consequences are we may not be able to go back to the spiritual world faster. So we should perform our prescribed duties.
Ma'am, there were 3 consequences, no ma'am?
Sorry?
Ma'am?
Yeah.
There were 3 consequences to avoiding dharma, ma'am.
What are the 3 consequences?
No, ma'am. I didn't wrote, ma'am. So I asked, ma'am.
There are 3 consequences of
avoiding dharma.
If you're avoiding dharma. No. There are 2 types of dharma itself. Dharma itself has 2 types. Are you okay? Sorry about that. Yes, what we were saying is that there are 2 types of dharma. One is the real dharma of that is the swadharma, which is the bodily duties, and the other one is sanatana dharma, which is the eternal duties. So which was the slide that you're referring to? I don't know.
Ma'am, that slide was... I didn't saw, ma'am.
Okay. Anyway, I will be sharing the slides. I don't know which question you're referring about. Just ask me next time, that is tomorrow, if you have more questions about it. Okay.
Ma'am, now can you share, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm sharing it on we will be sharing it on the WhatsApp groups.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. I see Bidisha Mataji raising hand. Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
I'm making you
Mataji.
co-host. Yes.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, I just have a request. There is a devotee named Ridhai in the group.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a lot of questions on faith on God, and so he's posting a number of questions which the other devotees are also replying. So I just thought if it could be addressed initially, because that creates a lot of disturbance in the group as well as in the class.
Yeah.
Ridhai, his name is
Hriday.
Ridhai.
Hriday, it would be great if you can please ask the questions over here. Is it Hriday Kanabar?
It's just a request
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah.
other devotees not to respond to those questions.
Hriday, you can unmute yourself and ask the questions here, and I request please do not answer other devotee questions. If at all there are questions, we have a lot of admins, that is, we have co-hosts who are very nicely answering, very nicely answering relevant answers. Please do not answer each other's question. You're here to learn. Let us all be nice with each other and do not answer each other. Hriday, you have questions, you can ask now. I've unmuted you. I don't see him answering, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji, I think we'll have to respond in the group then.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Mataji.
Hem Charan. Hem Charan.
Ma'am, karma. What karma means? What, ma'am?
Karma means whatever duty we are performing, that's karma.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Kavin.
Krishna said that if Arjuna dies, you go to the heavenly planets. But isn't the heavenly planets also the material world, and you will have to fall back one day?
Yes, Kavin. So Krishna is saying over here that even if you are performing your duties in a wrong way, you will be able to at least go to the heavenly kingdom. That is, if you're saying no, I will not perform my duties as a kshatriya, his duty is to protect people. If he's thinking no, I will not. If I go ahead and kill people, maybe I will have sinful reactions. So to avoid sins, if he's sitting quiet, that is not correct dharma. Rather, he should be protecting people, and for protecting people, he need to kill the bad people. So that's why Krishna is saying, if you're not killing, at least if you're killing the bad people, you will be going to the heavenly planets. But if you're not even doing that, then you're running away from your duties. This is what he's saying.
Okay, Mataji.
But it's not the best. Going to the heavenly planets is not the best. But he's saying, at least you will go to heavenly planets.
Okay.
Thank you. Sumitra?
Ma'am, Mataji, you said that a soul always continues its journey, but there are so many people present and each and every one of them have souls. So my main question is, how many souls could there be?
There are so many, many, many souls. We can't count.
So, ma'am, all of them continue the cycle?
That count is not given to us. So the number of people who fall from the spiritual world, just fall over here. That's how we need to understand.
Oh, okay. Okay, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bhavita Reddy?
Yes, ma'am.
Hare Krishna.
Ma'am, what is the difference between a body and a soul?
You tell me, we just learned today. The major difference we learned today. Do you remember? The body is a matter and the soul is a spirit. It's not a matter, it's a spirit where nobody can touch it. And body is not conscious. For example, when you touch soil, does the soil have any consciousness? Hare Krishna. We had somebody asking. Yeah, Bhavita. Bhavita.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have? Can you touch your mind?
No, ma'am.
Can you touch your intelligence?
No.
So like that, we have something called as consciousness. That consciousness is our soul. So the soul is actually called as consciousness, and that is the one which is also the one where it's moving our body all the time. But the matter cannot think on its own. Can earth or a soil or a water can think on its own?
No, ma'am.
Yes. And like our body goes through boyhood, youth, and it changes colors and all, but the soul cannot. And the body is temporary, it dies, but the soul, it never dies. It goes to another body, takes another body. But the body dies, but the soul is always alive. Those are the differences. Okay? I'm going to be sharing the slides. You can go through the slides once again whenever you're free. Okay? Tisha?
Ma'am, I had a doubt. What is Kali Yuga?
Sure. We have 4 yugas, which we will be learning in future, and we will see what is the dharma in all the 4 yugas. Just to tell you, we have Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali Yuga. So we have, these are the times, the eternal times that keeps rotating, but we will learn more in our next chapters. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Lasya?
Ma'am, I have a doubt. In stages of realizations, I have doubt of Paramatma.
Okay. What about the Paramatma? What do you want to know about Paramatma?
I have a doubt because I go to drink water, so I don't learn it.
So you want to go to drink water and?
Ma'am, I go to drink water, so I didn't listen about Paramatma.
Okay. So what I was explaining is that we have 3 types of realization. One is Brahman effulgence. Second is the Paramatma, where the sun disk or the ball of fire is the sun disk. That is the Paramatma realization. And the third one is the Krishna, Bhagwan realization. So I will be posting my videos. Please go through the videos once again and you can understand once again. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Lasya. Bindu? Hare Krishna. Bindu?
Yes, ma'am. Bindu, my mother name.
Okay. Okay. Tell
my
me.
name is Tarak Ram.
Yes, Tarak. Please tell me.
What is the Kala? I want to tell 2 questions.
Okay. Kala.
What is the Kala and the man and soil?
Okay. The Kala is the eternal time. The time factor is what is called as Kala. And what did you say the second question?
Man and soil.
Man?
And soil.
Soil.
People.
I'm not understanding your question.
People and soil.
People of soil.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know. What do you mean? I didn't even teach that.
Sorry. Confused. Prakriti. Prakriti. What is the Prakriti?
Okay. We will be reading about Prakriti in the future classes. So we will be learning more about it. Okay. So you can ask the question later if you don't understand.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Tarak. Can I have Sahana?
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hare Krishna, Tarak.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Miss, I have a 2 questions. The first question is, why can soul never be like that? It always be alive.
It always?
Why does soul always be alive and never gets died?
That's the feature of the soul.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the feature of the soul.
Okay, miss. The second question is that yesterday I was wanted to ask a question that I couldn't understand that why in that story, why they told that Lord Krishna is poking the elephant? I can't understand why they told that to the. Mesh, you're muted.
Okay, I have already posted the video. You can revisit the video and see the story again. Okay.
Okay, Mesh. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sahana.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Deveshri.
Yes, ma'am. I want to ask, why is spiritual world called spiritual world?
Because it's always happiness over there. It's always so opulent. It's so it's having all the great things. You can imagine the most best of the world, where you are never sad. You're always laughing and you're always having lots of fun. So.
And what about the material world? Why
material world? See, you'll have to write exams. You'll have to have. Today you woke up and then you went to school, so you'll have to work hard, and you'll have to. It's also sometimes like for sometimes you will have sadness, and sometimes you'll be happy about certain things. Sometimes it's winter, sometimes it's summer, sometimes it's daylight, sometimes it's night. So there's always changes.
So it's like nothing is permanent.
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you very much, Deveshri. Navadeep.
Yes, ma'am. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Ma'am, before the this question session, you were explaining one topic. In that you told Atmarama was a devotee of Krishna. Mataji, who is Atmarama?
Okay. See, Atma Rama is not a devotee of Krishna. Atma Rama is a kind of a feeling. How is it? When one person is always situated in Krishna consciousness, he's thinking that I want to pray Krishna all the time. He's dreaming about Krishna. He's even dressing Krishna in his mind. He's dressing, he's feeding Krishna. He's always carrying Krishna in his heart. And he's praying Krishna all the 24 hours. He's thinking, I don't have to even worry about my food. He doesn't even worry about his, about his being alive also. He always thinks Krishna is the greatest. I want to keep serving him all the time. He doesn't mind if he's getting food also or not. That person is called as Atma Rama. Okay?
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
Thank you. Very good question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Rushil.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, I want to chant the holy name. I want to chant, ma'am.
Yes, please, please.
Ma'am, I know first three, ma'am.
Hare Krishna.
Can I tell all the three? Not that one, ma'am. All first three, ma'am.
Yeah, say.
देहिनोऽस्मिन् यदा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मोह्यति. Ma'am, I know also the next one also, ma'am.
Can you stay, Rushil? I'll ask you to chant in the last if we have time. Sorry, we have another class and I want everybody's answers today. And tomorrow you can chant when Mataji is asking you to chant, okay? I'll ask Mataji.
Okay,
Gaurangi Mataji will let you chant tomorrow, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Aditya?
Thank you. Hare Krishna, ma'am.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I wanted to ask that does the soul take limited number of births?
Unlimited. We have taken millions of births so far. That is why all of us, you and me, are still in this material world. Otherwise, we would have gone back to spiritual world.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Sudiksha?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. After we die, will everyone go to the spiritual world?
No. If you have not chanted and if you have not followed the duties given to you by the Guru, we will not go back.
Will we live in this material world longer?
We have been living in this material world for so many millions of years. We have not gone back. Otherwise, we should have been in the spiritual world. This earth was created millions of years ago and we are still here, right?
Yes.
If it were to be like, if we were to be good people, listening to Krishna and always reading Bhagavad Gita, we would have already gone back. Srila Prabhupada is sitting in the spiritual sky and he's trying to pull us up, but we have not been chanting and going back. So we should chant how much ever possible and try to listen to the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, so that we can go back to the spiritual world and listen to our gurus. Whatever they have told, we should follow it. Then we will go back.
Okay, Mataji. And I have another question also. Now, when we are before a human, we are born as an animal, right?
Yes.
So when we are from one animal to another animal, suppose we are born as a fish, then after we die, only we'll go to another animal, is it?
Yes, so while you're in this body itself, you incarnate from small baby to big baby to another. So the fish, when it's born, it's tiny, and then it grows bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it loses. And then let's say the fish thinks, you know what? I wish I were to be flying. It will be so nice if I fly. If it sees an animal which is able to fly, then it will think, oh, I love to fly now. Let me go fly. So the fish will start having desire. And Krishna will see, oh, does this fish really deserve to become a fly, or does it really deserve to become a bird? Then he will approve it. Okay, you can become a bird. Then the body is automatically taken over there. So as per our desires, if we deserve, we can become this body. But before we come to the human body, we keep traveling 84 lakh species. And then only we'll get a human body. And Krishna gives this human body only for chanting. But we don't use it. We think we are here to play, we are here to do so many other things. No, we are here only to chant and go back to Krishna's world. Human life is so rare. When we get the human life, after 84 lakh species, we get it. We should make it useful, right?
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much, Sudhika.
And Mataji, and also now like our suppose when we are sad, it is our soul, right, which is emotional. It's not our body.
Our body is a dead matter, so it cannot experience anything, it cannot feel anything, it doesn't have any feelings. For example, for example, our hand, it only can feel pain, but who is really feeling that pain? Our soul is feeling that pain.
Okay.
The feelings is actually coming from our soul. But when we pinch, let's say I pinch a table, does it get hurt?
No.
Table never gets hurt. A pencil or pen doesn't get hurt. Like that, our body is made out of the matter. That matter doesn't get hurt, but the feeling is actually experienced by our soul.
Okay.
So the pain is felt by our soul.
So like our brain is controlled by the soul.
Yes, brain can be controlled by the soul, and the soul also can be controlled by the brain. So it can be go other way around. We'll teach you what are the things that we can control. Like it can be other way around also. This will come across even in the future chapters, where how we should be controlling our brain or the mind through our soul to do good things, so that we can go back to Krishna's world.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Sudiksha. Anvita?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I wanted to ask you that when the Mahabharata war was going, how much time did Krishna tell Arjuna the teachings?
Yes.
For how much time?
It took 45 minutes for Krishna to deliver this entire Bhagavad Gita. And if we have to give any speech, we'll have to prepare at least for 1 month. See, even if you have to deliver a speech for 5 minutes, you will think, right? But Krishna, all of a sudden, he just paused everything and he delivered this entire Bhagavad Gita in 45 minutes. And Arjuna understood this also, and he surrendered also within 45 minutes. Right? So we also have to be having the mood to understand how Arjuna understood this Bhagavad Gita by surrendering completely to Krishna.
Okay, ma'am. Mataji, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Anvita. Hare Krishna. Advait?
Mataji,
Hare Krishna.
what do we learn during this 18 days?
Yes. During this 18 days, we will be learning Bhagavad Gita. And this is not going to be something that we are going to learn the entire Bhagavad Gita. This is only a bindu, a small drop of what is there in the entire Bhagavad Gita. It's only the essence. After this course is over, you still have to take 2-3 times so that you understand it and register it well. Then we will go deeper into the subject.
Okay, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Jaswant?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I just wanted to ask, so whoever goes to the spiritual world, is it us or is it the soul who goes to the spiritual world?
Who are you? Are you the body or the soul? Hare Krishna. Jaswant? Okay, I think he's muted. I don't know where he's left. I'm just unmuting you. Jaswant, are you this body or soul?
Yeah, I'm the body.
You're the body. You're the body. Don't mute yourself. Are you the body?
Yes, I'm the body, and inside me there's a soul.
Correct. So let's say we saw the cage and the bird, right? We saw the cage and the parrot. Is the bird the cage or is the bird itself?
Actually, it's the bird.
Correct. So the soul is trapped inside the cage of this body.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are not this body, we are the soul. So the soul, all the souls are eternally serving Krishna. That is our eternal position. That is our constitutional position. But we think that we are servants of our own senses, which is our body. We think, I want gulab jamun, I want gobi manchuri, I want all the yummy stuff. But actually, we are not.
It's the God who's controlling.
Yes, it's the body which is demanding. Body is attracting all the materialistic things. You know, if it's 5 elements, that is earth, water, air, fire. If it is Panchamahabhuta, it will try to attract other Panchamahabhuta. It will try to attract other those things, right? But soul wants to serve Krishna. We forget that when we come to this material world, we get this body and we immediately forget that I was serving Krishna in the spiritual world, and I start serving my senses instead of serving Krishna. Okay.
So I was told by my grandparents that when we are born as a human, we have 7 lives. Is that true?
7 lives. We have been having millions of lives so far.
No, one particular soul, can it only be born 7 times as anything, or
we have been taking birth and death millions of lifetimes now. Ever since this creation has come across, we have been living over here, and some have gone back, they're no more here, and the rest of the living entities are still over here. Otherwise, we would have been in spiritual world now.
So then what's the meaning of Janma?
Our body is taking birth.
No, not like that. It's like, I was being told like there are 2 Janmas. One Janma means our birth, and the second Janma means a generation. So
what is the generation?
Generation means like 1,000 years or something.
So you can ask your grandparents for a scriptural reference. Where is it given? Because over here Krishna himself is saying that until you come back to the spiritual world, you're taking birth, and again you take birth, you're just taking another body, just like how you wear new clothes. Right? So until you go back to Krishna's world, the spiritual planets or spiritual world, you will keep taking birth and taking new dresses. But you don't want to do that. How many times will you be having new parents, new brother, new sister? Again, you will come back into, okay, I need to study, I need to grow up, I need to earn money, I need to make house, I need to make family. So again, I die. So this cycle keeps going on and on. It's we have been doing this for several lifetimes, right? So we need to stop this chain and go back to the spiritual world so that we don't keep doing that. We are thinking I'm actually having this a nice enjoyment, but we are not. We have to go back to the spiritual world. That's our eternal spiritual position.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you very much, Jaswant. Samanvita, Hare Krishna. Samanvita Reddy.
Yes, ma'am. I have Hare Krishna, ma'am.
Hare
When
Krishna.
did Mahabharatam start?
Mahabharata was in Dwapara Yuga.
When did it start?
As in Dwapara Yuga. It started in Dwapara Yuga.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hare Krishna. Padmesh.
Ma'am, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
If the soul can go inside only it can go inside the human body, it can go inside to the animal body also, ma'am.
We just saw it. It travels 84 lakh species. We have 84 lakh species on this in this material world where we keep traveling. We keep going to the lower planets. We keep going to the higher planets. We go into the Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Patala. We go into the higher planets, into other heavenly abodes also. So we keep traveling everywhere, all the living entities. The soul can go into any body, whichever we wish to, if we deserve it. Only if we deserve it. Navadvip, sorry. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, I want to ask that we have 4 yugs. One was Satyug, one was Dwapara.
You're muted. You're muted. Okay. Supratik.
Mataji, I'm having a doubt that they say that we should not keep Mahabharat book in the house. Why?
I think it's a misconception. Many people ask, I'm so surprised to hear this. You will receive this knowledge in the last chapter. It says, wherever you read Mahabharata, wherever you read Bhagavad Gita, there Krishna and all auspiciousness will come. So this is a misconception. And you should immediately go and tell them that wherever Krishna is, the auspiciousness, the goodness will always start spreading across everywhere. Wherever Krishna is there, wherever Bhagavad Gita is there, Krishna is there. This is a misconception that people have. Okay?
Thank you, Mataji.
Please read Bhagavad Gita every day. It is very good for you. Whenever you read Bhagavad Gita, it means that you are going back to spiritual world. It's your ticket to spiritual world.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Lalit Kumar.
Mataji, hello?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, I have a doubt.
Yes.
When Krishna said to Arjuna, you might conquer the war or you might get killed and go to the heavenly planets, isn't that only the heavenly planets where the war is going on, Mataji? Because there is Krishna too.
Hari Bol. Very, very nice question. See, of course, Krishna is currently there along with Arjuna. But right now, Krishna is there, but he will go back to his spiritual world. You will see in the 4th chapter, Krishna will say, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyudhanam adharmasya sadatmanam srijamyaham. Krishna comes down to the from spiritual world to the material world to annihilate the miscreants and upon the request of his dear devotees. He'll go back and then later he will not be in this material world. We will miss him, right?
Okay, Mataji.
That's why we need to go back. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. We have one more question. We'll just take one last question. Advait?
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I have a Bhagavad Gita book, Mataji.
Hari Bol.
Should I show it?
Yes. Okay. So when you're buying a Bhagavad Gita book, please take it from any ISKCON locations, because there are some unauthorized commentators. If you're reading from non-devotees, you won't understand Bhagavad Gita so nicely. Only the devotees should have written it, okay?
Mataji.
Yes.
I didn't buy this book. I got it as a gift.
Okay, okay. Just check if it's coming from an authorized parampara, okay?
For 200 rupees.
Okay, okay. But did you check if this is coming from an authorized parampara?
It came from Dreamlands Publications.
Okay. If you're not reading it from a Guru Parampara, it may not have the correct factual things, okay?
What?
It may not have the correct details. If you're not taking it from the proper Guru Parampara, it will not have the correct details.
Mataji, it is written the Bhagavad Gita is a unique book and it is one.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, I don't know, I can't hear. Navdeep, last question.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
Mataji, now we are running in Kali Yuga, but we have 4 yugs.
Yes.
There was Satyug, Dwapar Yuga, and now it is Kali Yuga. What is the next yug, Mataji?
Next, we will go back into the cycle of Satya Yuga.
Satya Yuga.
Yeah.
Okay,
Next
Mataji.
question.
Mataji, next question is, if I want to buy only the Bhagavad Gita, Hindi edition and English edition, how can I, ma'am? Mataji.
You can visit any one of the closest ISKCON temples.
Okay, Mataji.
Where do you stay?
Hyderabad.
Yeah, you have ISKCON temples in Hyderabad. You can visit. They have a authorized Bhagavad Gita. It's the best to buy it from ISKCON temples. Okay.
Okay,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Okay,
Thank
I
you,
got two
Mataji.
more.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Navdeep. I got two more. Last two questions. Veda.
Mataji, what is the meaning of Hari Bol?
Hari Bol. This is given to us by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he's saying everybody has to call Hari. Just say Hari. Bol means say. Hari Bol.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji.
Very much. Hare Krishna, Veda. Tushant.
Hare Krishna, ma'am.
Hare Krishna.
You told that Alavaikuntapuram, no, ma'am.
Sorry?
Ma'am, you told about little bit of Vaikuntapuram, no, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, what is the meaning? Ma'am, what will be in the Vaikuntapuram, ma'am?
Not Vaikuntapuram. Vaikuntha planets. So in Vaikuntha planets, we have many Vishnu form. Everybody is in Vishnu forms, 400 Krishna forms. It's very opulent. Lot of Vishnu forms will be found, where all the Lakshmis, many Lakshmis and all the Vishnus will be in this planet. That is Vaikuntha planets. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks a lot. I have answered almost every one. I'm going to log out now. Sorry, we have a next class immediately. I had to take the class faster. We will just do the closing prayer. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Naam Sankirtan ki jai, Bhuvan Mangal Thakur ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you very much. We are logging off.